How you doing, YouTube? As you can see, I've shaved, so now I look like I'm 14, so that's freaking awesome. Yeah, I don't know why I keep on doing this. And we're just sitting back waiting on the Braves game to start. Let's see if we can beat LA. Honestly, shouldn't have went to Game 7, but here we are. You can see I got a rock glass here, so we're not drinking beer, we're drinking liquor. And what liquor is that? Well, Buchanan's Deluxe Blended Scotch. This is a 12-year-old. Go ahead and pour that. Now, it's got some little, weird deal up here, I guess, for steady pours. Although, if you see, you gotta literally tip that thing upside down and kind of shake it. That's a little annoying. There we go. This is a 12-year-old blended scotch, which is honestly nice that we have an age statement. A lot of these blended scotches don't have age statements, which is basically means that it's a mixture of younger and older whiskeys. They'll throw younger whiskeys in there to help keep the price down. Although you have younger whiskeys, they're normally less flavorful and a little bit more harsh. So to see a age statement on this is very nice. If you're wondering the price for this bottle, it's 375 milliliters. It's like, I think, 25 bucks, somewhere in that price range. If I got the full size bottle, it'd be about 55 bucks. So as far as price goes, the Buchanan's is in, Johnny Walker Black territory. So about the middle of the road on your more discount scotches. Before I get into whiffing and looking at this, just a little background on Buchanan's. I live in North Georgia, and we have in some areas, a decent Mexican population. So, and just FYI, Mexicans, at least the ones I've noticed, love this shit. I remember, you go to some kind of get together and they'll be drinking this, and I'm like, what? I've never seen this. What is it? And they're like, oh, it's Bucano. And the reason it's so prevalent with the Mexican community is it comes down to similar to why with, I guess generic white businessmen, how a lot of them just love Johnny Walker. I think Johnny Walker is the best whiskey you could ever get. Like, if you want a good scotch, Johnny Walker Blue is the greatest thing you can get. To some people, at least, that's the way they think. And this is kind of same thing with the Hispanic community. A lot of their norteño, which means northern, norteño is like a Mexican country music, if you will. I'm not an expert on this. It's kind of funny seeing a white dude trying to tell you about Mexican culture, but hey, here we are, I'm doing my best. But with people, with certain singers, and also with drug dealers, narcos, these people have more money than the general community, so they start drinking, nicer things. And Buchanan's, is a nicer liquor compared to some of the rot gut stuff you can get. And it's kind of grew to be a sign of affluence and wealth. So, in Mexico it's harder to get just because of the price, although it is, pretty easy to find in, Mexico and some South American countries. But anyway, you got people immigrating to the United States to get the first big paycheck. They want to show off a little bit. They get themselves a bottle of Bucano. Anyway, let's get to the ABV here. The proof is 80, so of course the ABV is 40% alcohol by volume. Color-wise, it just kind of looks like whiskey. Looks like a scotch. It's I don't know, it's a little bit darker than gold, get a little bit of a red hue in it, a little bit of, a light brown, I guess. As far as smell goes, it's light, it's sweet, a little citrusy. You get a little bit, you get a graininess, which it's made by grain, it's scotch, so of course. And just a hint of a little bit of smoke. It's not a huge smoke profile compared to like, Johnny Walker Black, Double Black. It's not as peaty as, say, a Lefroy 10. But it's there, although it's definitely in the background. Flavor-wise, not as sweet. The smoke, get a little smoke, get a little peat. I've looked at tasting notes and I haven't seen anybody mention this, but like a leather. And I get that with a lot of scotches. Maybe I'm not choosing the right. Maybe leather isn't really the the right way to describe it, but just the flavor just reminds me a little bit of like if you just licked a leather belt or something, which I enjoy. It's weird. It doesn't sound appealing. It doesn't sound like, oh, I had a belt laying next to me. Oh, here it is. This, doesn't sound like an appealing thing to taste, but I don't know, just like I said, maybe it's just the way I'm describing it that's wrong, but the flavor, not as sweet as the nose would lead you to believe. I said you get a little, maybe even a little honey or something. It's definitely brighter and lighter on the nose, but the flavor, even though it is only 80 proof, it's not extremely heavy, not as complex as some scotches or bourbons or ryes or whatever whiskey you're comparing it to, but it still has a reasonable amount of character for the price and for the proof. Get a hint of pepper too, a little bit of a black pepper, like a touch of spices. But yeah, it's mild. Still maintains some of the brighter characters that the nose has, but you definitely get a little bit more smoke. You get a little bit more, like I said, that darker kind of a leathery character. You get like a toasted grain to it that, not saying that that it's toasty like the way a stout would taste toasty. If we're comparing this to at least what I normally drink, which would be beer. I drink a lot of darker beers, but still a kind of a toasty grain character. And I'm just noticing I'm rambling right now, and that's just because it's hard for me to describe whiskey to people. Like my ex-girlfriend, I'd sit there and drink different whiskeys when we were hanging out, and I'd go, oh, I'm tasting this and that kind of, and this, and she would go, I taste whiskey. Now, I got a little bit more of a complex palate than she does, but there's a whole lot of people, especially on YouTube, that know a lot more than I do about whiskey and definitely know how to put it into words better than I do. But like I'm saying, for the most part, peat. Mild peat, though. It's not Lafroy 10 kind of peat, but mild underlying bit of peat and smoke. A little bit of a toasted note. You get a little bit of a citrus note. A little bit of a light sweetness. Overall, though, it's pretty well balanced. And as far as the mouthfeel goes, it's pretty light. A little bit orally, though. But it's not thick. It goes down pretty easy. You get a mild burn. There's a little oiliness to it, which, it's par for the course for a lot of scotches. Overall, for the price point and the fact that this, it's a blended scotch, this ain't, for some people this is what you would bring to a party. Other people might, turn their nose up and go, oh, well, I've got fucking Glenfarclas 15, or, oh, I got Macallan's fucking sherry cask, whatever. But for someone like me, I ain't got a huge amount of money, so you ain't gonna see me, sipping Johnny Walker Blue or a 25-year-old, Macallan or nothing like that. I would like to. Oh, that 25, I think it's like $1,000 at Total Wine for Macallan 25. But for a more manageable sipping scotch as far as price range go, this Buchanan's, or Bucano if you want to call it that, definitely not a bad buy. Like I said, it's about Johnny Walker Black price range. And comparing the two, they have some similarities, have a couple differences, but it comes down to preference, and I could drink either one of those. I think I might like the Johnny Walker Black a hint more. I thought, the first time I bought Buchanan's, I thought the Buchanan's was a tad better, but I think Johnny Walker Black has a little bit more smoke by comparison, while the Buchanan's is a tad lighter. But either way, you know, if you're a friend of mine and it's my birthday or something, you go, hey man, here, have some Buchanan's. I'm gonna go, well, thank you. I really, really do appreciate this, because for just a good sit around and sip on some scotch kind of day, Buchanan's definitely fits into that. It's, like I said, it's not the fanciest thing you're ever gonna see. It's not the most complex scotch you're ever gonna see, but sometimes the best scotch is the one you're drinking right now. And like I said, since it's a, you know, it's a blended scotch, it's not all that expensive, I'm gonna go ahead and give this a 7 out of 10. It's, you know, a very good example of a, you know, a peated, which I think this is peated blended scotch. There's, you know, there's some better values as far as scotch goes. I think Monkey Shoulder is a better value, but also Monkey Shoulder has a different kind of flavor profile compared to Buchanan. So it comes down mainly to what you're looking for in the moment as far as what flavors you want. So yeah, I'm giving it a solid 7 out of 10. Anyway, that's all for me. I got a race to watch. We're racing at Kansas right now. So like, rate, subscribe if you care to. If you don't, that's fine with me. And make sure, first and foremost, to kill your local pedophile. And also, looking at my cat over here, spade neuter your cats. Don't need a bunch of, you know, stray cats around, although I'm thankful that we did have a stray cat, because that's how I got mine. Anyway, y'all have a good night and a pleasant tomorrow.